The message arrived on a quiet Tuesday morning, transmitted directly to every government headquarters on Earth simultaneously. The Galactic Council, a coalition of advanced alien civilizations that humanity had never before encountered, demanded Earth pay tribute in the form of resources, technology, and a specified number of humans for cultural exchange. The Council representative, a multi-limbed being with iridescent scales, spoke with calm certainty, explaining that all new species discovered by the Council were required to demonstrate their submission or face consequences. Humanity was given 30 days to comply. General Kim Ji-soo, newly appointed head of Earth's United Defense Force, watched the transmission with narrowed eyes. "They've mistaken diplomatic inexperience for weakness," she remarked to the hastily assembled world leaders. As intelligence agencies scrambled to verify the threat's legitimacy, Ji-soo made a single call to activate Project Prometheus, humanity's secret fleet of advanced warships that had been constructed in the asteroid belt, far from prying eyes. The world leaders sat in stunned silence as the alien transmission ended. Some appeared ready to give in to fear, while others seemed angry. President Lee stood up first, his face calm but serious. "What do we know about this Galactic Council?" he asked. General Kim checked her tablet. "Very little, Mr. President. Our space telescopes have detected some unusual activity in the outer solar system for the past 3 years, but nothing that suggested an organized alien presence." Defense Minister Choi slammed his fist on the table. "This is absurd. They want our resources, our technology, and our people. Who do they think they are?" "They think they're stronger than us," General Kim said simply. And they might be right. The room grew quiet again. Outside the windows of the emergency meeting room, life in Seoul continued as normal. People walked the streets, unaware that their world had just changed forever. "We cannot tell the public yet," said Director Kang of Intelligence. "It would cause panic. We need time to confirm this is real and to plan our response." General Kim nodded but kept her thoughts to herself. She had been preparing for this day for 15 years. Since the discovery of the strange crashed ship in the Arctic, Earth's major powers had secretly agreed to work together. They knew they weren't alone in the universe, and they knew they needed to be ready. "I need to leave now," she said, standing up. "With your permission, Mr. President, I'll begin our contingency plans." President Lee looked at her for a long moment. "You've been expecting this." "Not expecting, sir. Preparing." "There's a difference." The president nodded. "Do what you need to do, General." As Kim Ji-soo left the meeting, her phone buzzed with a secure message. The alert was simple. Prometheus activated. Awaiting orders. She took a military helicopter to the hidden base beneath the mountains. There, in a control room deep underground, she found her team already at work. Screens showed activity across the solar system as hibernating systems came to life. "Status report," she ordered as she walked in. Colonel Han bowed slightly. "All systems coming online, General. The fleet will be at full power in 17 hours. And our pilots, ready for your command. They've been training in simulation for years." General Kim looked at the main screen, which showed a 3D map of Earth's solar system. Small blue dots represented humanity's secret fleet, currently hidden among the asteroids between Mars and Jupiter. "Show me what we know about the alien ships," she ordered. The map changed, and 3 large red dots appeared near Mars. "The Council ships are big," Colonel Han explained. "Each one is about twice the size of our largest vessel, but our scans show they're not built for war. They're diplomatic ships with some defense capabilities." "So they didn't expect us to fight back," Kim said, thinking out loud. "They assumed we would be afraid and give in." "That appears to be the case, General." Kim thought about Earth's history, about all the times when powerful nations had demanded tribute from weaker ones. She thought about colonization, about empire, about the strong taking from the weak simply because they could. "Not this time," she whispered. She turned to her communications officer. Connect me with Captain Yu. A moment later, the face of Captain Yu Jinho appeared on the main screen. He was on the bridge of the Baekdu, humanity's first true space warship. General Kim, he said, saluting. The Baekdu is ready. As are the rest of our ships, added Colonel Han. The entire Prometheus fleet awaits your orders. General Kim took a deep breath. Humanity had 30 days to respond to the Galactic Council's demands. She would use every minute of that time. Captain Yu, begin moving the fleet to these coordinates, she said, sending data to his ship. Maintain stealth protocols. I want us in position before we reveal ourselves. Yes, General. And Captain, she added, prepare your crew. In 30 days, we either establish humanity as equals in this galaxy, or we show these aliens that Earth will never submit to threats. Captain Yu nodded, his face serious. We won't let you down, General. As the connection ended, General Kim turned back to look at the map. The red dots of the alien ships seemed to hover menacingly near Earth. Soon, they would be surrounded by blue dots, Earth's answer to their demands. They want tribute, she said quietly. We'll give them warships instead. While diplomats from Earth maintained open communication with the Council, buying time with careful negotiations and requests for clarification, humanity's true response took shape in the shadow of Jupiter. Ships that had been designed as a contingency against exactly this type of threat. Vessels incorporating technology reverse-engineered from downed alien craft over the decades were brought to full operational status. Commander Park Tahoe inspected the gleaming hulls of Earth's first true space navy, 43 warships ranging from swift corvettes to the massive dreadnought Thermopylae. We always suspected we weren't alone, he told his assembled officers. We just hoped first contact would be friendlier. The fleet maintained complete communication silence, using only quantum-entangled systems that couldn't be detected by conventional means. As the Council's deadline approached, humanity's defenders moved into position. Commander Park looked out the viewport of the Thermopylae at the other ships gathered in Jupiter's shadow. The gas giant's massive body hid them from Earth and, more importantly, from the Council ships that orbited there. From this distance, the warships looked like stars against the blackness of space. Beautiful, deadly stars. Sir, final checks are complete on all ships, said Lieutenant Zhang, handing Park a tablet. The fleet is ready. Park nodded. And our special modifications. Working perfectly. The stealth systems make us invisible to standard scans. The shield technology exceeds our original estimates by 30%. And our weapons, Lieutenant Zhang smiled slightly. Let's just say the Council will be surprised. 20 years ago, a small alien scout ship had crashed in the Gobi Desert. 10 years later, another was found in the depths of the Pacific Ocean. For decades, the nations of Earth had worked in secret, studying the technology, learning, adapting, and building. Now 43 ships represented the sum of that knowledge and effort. Gather the captains for a final meeting, Park ordered. I want to speak with them before we begin our approach. An hour later, the captains of all 43 ships stood in the Thermopylae's conference room. Some were physically present, others appeared as holograms, staying with their ships. In 48 hours, Park said, we reveal ourselves to the Council. Until then, maintain absolute communication silence except through the quantum network. He looked at each face, seeing determination in their eyes. Remember your training. Remember what we're fighting for. Captain Song of the Handbit raised her hand. Sir, what if the aliens have technology we haven't anticipated? A valid concern, Park replied. But remember, they came expecting tribute, not battle. Their ships aren't built for war. Ours are. After the meeting, Park returned to the bridge. The main screen showed a direct feed from Earth, where Ambassador Kim was speaking with the Council representative. We simply need more time to gather the resources you've requested, the ambassador was saying. Our planet's governance is complex. The alien, who called itself Delegate Zorvan, made a gesture with 3 of its 6 arms. Time is a luxury, Ambassador. The Council's patience has limits. Park muted the feed and turned to his executive officer. How are our pilots doing? Commander Hyun looked up from her station. Nervous but ready. Most have only flown these ships in simulation. This will be their first real combat, if it comes to that. Let's hope it doesn't, Park said, though he didn't believe his own words. Later that night, Park sat alone in his quarters, looking at pictures of his family. His wife Lee Min-ah and their daughter Soo-jin smiled back at him from the screen. They didn't know where he was or what he was doing. Security was too tight. The world's governments had agreed. No one could know about the fleet until it was necessary. A soft chime announced a visitor. Enter, Park called. Dr. Kang, the fleet's chief scientist, walked in with a tablet. Commander, I have the final analysis of the Council ships. Go ahead. Their hulls are made of a material similar to what we found in the crashed ships, but more advanced. However, Dr. Kang's eyes lit up. Their shield technology appears less sophisticated than what we've developed. You mean we have an advantage? Potentially, yes. They'd focused on diplomacy and exploration. We've focused on defense and survival. Park took the tablet and studied the data. This could work in our favor, he said. The next day, Park ordered battle drills. The fleet moved in perfect formation, practicing maneuvers while staying hidden in Jupiter's shadow. The ships ranged from small, fast attackers to the massive Thermopylae, which served as both command center and main battle platform. 24 hours until we move, Park announced to the fleet. Check your systems twice. There will be no second chances. That evening, as Jupiter's great red spot came into view from the Thermopylae's observation deck, Park stood with his hands clasped behind his back. Lieutenant Jang joined him. Beautiful, isn't it? Park said, nodding toward Jupiter. Yes, sir. Hard to believe we're about to make history. Park turned to face the young officer. History remembers the winners. Lieutenant, let's make sure that's us. As the deadline approached, Park ordered the fleet to begin moving into position. Slowly, silently, the warships slipped out of Jupiter's shadow and formed a sphere around the path the Council ships would take to Earth. The trap was set. All ships report ready, Commander, said Lieutenant Jang. Park nodded. Now we wait, and when the time comes, we show them that Earth is not a planet of servants. The stars seemed to watch silently as humanity's first space navy prepared to defend their home. In the vastness of space, 43 ships might seem insignificant, but they carried with them the hopes and determination of an entire planet. For Earth, Park whispered to himself as he watched the distant shape of the Council's lead ship on a long-range scanner. For all of us, on the 29th day, Earth's official delegation requested a meeting with the Galactic Council's representatives. The aliens arrived in what they considered minimal force, 3 battle cruisers positioned at strategic points around Earth's orbit. The Council's emissary began to speak about humanity's submission when the meeting was interrupted by a transmission from Commander Park. Attention Galactic Council vessels. This is Commander Park Tahoe of Earth's Defense Fleet. We've targeted your engines with our weapons systems. Your scanners will now detect 43 Earth warships that have just decloaked around your position. We are not interested in tribute or submission. We are, however, open to fair diplomatic relations between equals. The alien vessel's scanners registered what should have been impossible. Dozens of heavily armed ships that had somehow approached undetected, now surrounding the Council's forces in a perfect tactical formation. Inside the main Council battlecruiser, High Delegate Zorvin stared at the scanner display with all 4 of his eyes wide open. What had been empty space moments ago now showed 43 warships of various sizes, all with weapons locked on his vessels. Impossible, he whispered. His second in command, Delegate Mirex, rushed to his side. High Delegate, the humans have weapons trained on our engines. Our shields cannot withstand a coordinated attack from so many ships. Zorvin's scales shifted from confident green to worried orange. How did they hide from our sensors? No primitive species should have such technology. On the Thermopylae, Commander Park stood tall on the bridge. His officers worked quickly at their stations, monitoring the Council ships for any sign of aggression. "They're powering up secondary systems," reported Lieutenant Jiang. "But not weapons yet." Park nodded. "Keep our weapons locked on target, but do not fire unless I give the order." The communication screen flashed, and the face of the alien delegate appeared. Zorvan's multiple eyes blinked rapidly. "Commander Park," the alien said, its translator converting the clicks and whistles into human language. "This is unexpected. The Council was not informed that Earth possessed a battle fleet." "You didn't ask," Park replied simply. "You demanded tribute without learning anything about us. That was a mistake." On Earth, in the United Nations meeting hall, General Kim Ji-soo watched the exchange on the main screen. World leaders sat around her, some nervous, others smiling with pride. "It's working," whispered President Lee. "They're shocked." General Kim nodded but stayed focused on the screen. This was the most dangerous moment, when the Council would decide whether to fight or talk. Back in space, Park maintained his calm demeanor as he addressed the alien. "High Delegate Zorvan, Earth is not interested in conflict, but we will not submit to demands or threats. If the Galactic Council wishes to establish relations with humanity, it must be as equals." Zorvan's scales rippled with color changes, orange to red to a deep purple. Park had studied the limited information they had on the Council species. Purple meant uncertainty, perhaps even fear. "Your ships," Zorvan said finally. "They incorporate technology similar to Council designs. How is this possible?" Park smiled slightly. "Earth has had visitors before. Not all of them left." The bridge crew of the Thermopylae exchanged glances. They all knew the story: the recovered alien crafts, the years of reverse engineering, the secret preparations. "Commander," Lieutenant Jiang said quietly, "the Council ships are scanning us more intensively now." "Let them look," Park replied. "They should understand what they're facing." On the screen, Zorvan appeared to be consulting with others off-camera. Finally, he returned his attention to Park. "The Council has rules, Commander. Protocols for first contact and integration of new species." "Those rules don't apply here," Park said firmly. "This isn't first contact, and we're not interested in integration. We're offering alliance instead of submission." In the UN hall, Ambassador Kim stood up. "General, I should join the conversation. This is becoming a diplomatic matter again." General Kim nodded and had the ambassador patched into the communication. "High Delegate Zorvan," Ambassador Kim said, her image now appearing alongside Park's in the transmission. "I am Ambassador Kim Hae-jin of Earth. As Commander Park has stated, we seek peaceful relations with the Council, but only as a sovereign and equal power." Zorvan's scales shifted again, settling into a bluish tone. "This is unprecedented. The Council has existed for 12,000 years. No species has ever refused tribute." "Then perhaps," Ambassador Kim said with a slight smile, "it is time for the Council to evolve." On the Thermopylae, Park watched as his tactical officer updated the display. The Council ships had stopped all aggressive scanning and had powered down several systems. "I think they're backing down, sir," said Lieutenant Jiang. "For now," Park replied, "but stay alert." The communication continued as Zorvan requested time to consult with the full Council. Ambassador Kim agreed to a 3-day waiting period, during which Earth's fleet would maintain its position, but not advance closer to the Council ships. When the transmission ended, Park turned to his crew. "Well done, everyone. But this is just the beginning. They're going to report back to their superiors, and we need to be ready for whatever comes next." Later, Park spoke privately with General Kim through their secure quantum link. "What do you think they'll do?" he asked. General Kim considered the question. "They have 3 options. They can accept our terms and treat us as equals. They can retreat and return with a larger force, or they can try to learn more about us before deciding. Which would you choose in their position?" The third option, General Kim said without hesitation. Knowledge before action. Park nodded. Then we should expect spies, not warships. At least for now. As the first day of the waiting period ended, Park stood at the viewport of his ship, looking out at the stars and the blue-green gem of Earth in the distance. For the first time in human history, ships from Earth were facing alien vessels as equals, not as primitives to be conquered or exploited. "Lieutenant Jang," he called. "Yes, Commander." "Send a message to all ships. Tell them I'm proud of what they've accomplished today. Today, humanity showed the galaxy that we will not bow to threats or intimidation." "Yes, sir," Jang replied with a smile. As the message went out, Park continued to watch Earth, thinking of his family and the billions of others down there who still didn't know how close they had come to becoming servants of an alien council. If he had his way, they would never have to know. The council's emergency meeting buzzed with tension and uncertainty. Representatives from dozens of alien civilizations gathered in a massive circular chamber, their holographic displays flickering with images of human ships and strange technological readings. Old rivals and traditional diplomats found themselves united by confusion. The humans had done something extraordinary. They had caught the galactic powers completely by surprise. Their technology wasn't just advanced, it was unpredictable and innovative. The senior counselor, a withered creature from a civilization thousands of generations older than humanity, leaned forward. His multifaceted eyes scanned data streams that showed humanity's remarkable preparation. They had constructed ships that could hide from the most sophisticated scanning systems, developed communication networks that seemed to anticipate potential conflicts, and demonstrated a level of planetary unity that was rare among young species. "They are different," he muttered, more to himself than to the other council members. Arguments erupted across the chamber. Some demanded immediate military action, seeing the humans as a potential threat. Others argued for careful observation. A few were genuinely fascinated by humanity's unexpected capabilities. Days passed. Earth waited. The council deliberated. The humans had not attacked. They had not threatened. They had simply demonstrated their ability to defend themselves, a subtle but powerful message that echoed through the galaxy. When the final decision came, it was unexpected. The council would not treat humanity as a potential enemy, but as a species worthy of serious diplomatic engagement. They had proven themselves more than just another emerging civilization. The galaxy held its breath, waiting to see what would happen next. The world watched in silent anticipation as the transmission from the Galactic Council filled screens across every continent. Words that would change human history forever crackled through communication systems. The Galactic Council acknowledges humanity as a sovereign power. General Kim stood motionless, his weathered face reflecting years of secret preparation. Next to him, Commander Park remained equally composed, their shared history of hidden defense strategies now validated in a single moment. Behind them, Earth's warships maintained perfect formation, a clear signal of strength and unity. These were not vessels of aggression, but of carefully calculated defense. Each ship represented years of technological development, of humanity's collective determination to be ready for any potential threat. The Council's message was unprecedented. Not only had they dropped their demand for tribute, but they were proposing a mutual defense treaty. This was more than diplomacy. This was recognition. "They're testing us," Kim whispered to Park, his voice low and controlled. Park nodded slightly. "We've been ready longer than they know." Worldwide, people felt a shift. This wasn't just a diplomatic moment. This was humanity's entry into a larger, more complex universe. Countries that had once competed now stood united, their collective achievements speaking louder than individual ambitions. Earth's scientists, military strategists, and diplomats had worked in quiet coordination for decades. They understood that first contact wasn't just about technology, but about presenting a unified, strong front. The message to spacefaring civilizations was clear. Earth would not be intimidated. Humanity would engage as equals, prepared and resolute. A new chapter in human history had begun, not with submission, but with strength.